I am a married working mom with 2 kids and one on the way, and I simply refuse to constantly be in survival mode. So I have set up a few rules, call it habits or boundaries around the house to support me, reduce the overwhelm, to stay sane, and also enjoy motherhood in this season that I'm in. And I know some of these tips will help you as well, especially if you're constantly overwhelmed. So keep watching. The first rule for me is I refuse to do everything all by myself. I will ask for help. Because my kids are now 7-year-old and 5-year-old, they really understand some of these things, and I expect them to help me around the house. We fold the laundry together, and sometimes they do it all by themselves. This weekend, they actually folded all the entire laundry without me asking, without me telling them to do it. They just did it because it's been a routine that we've been doing. And it wasn't easy in the beginning because I had to literally force them to help me. The more I involve them into this, they can now do it all by themselves. I will ask them to help clean the stairs, to vacuum the living area. Yes, I'll ask my spouse to help do the dishes, do things around the house together with me. I just don't want to do it all by myself. I've done that before and I was frustrated with everyone in the house. I don't clean up after my kids, and I've constantly reminded them of this. If we have finished dinner, you're going to take your plate to the sink. So if you've been playing with the toys, you're going to put them back. There's so many times I've been tempted to just clean it because it would take me like a minute. And I'm like, that is not me teaching them how to do it themselves. So I will constantly call them back, hey, you gotta go back and clean this table. And somehow it's being instilled in their minds to clean after themselves. That is work off my plate that I don't have to look. Last year, actually, I started hiring someone to help me come and clean my house. They come once a month or even sometimes once in 2 months to help me do a deep clean, and the rest is me maintaining the house. Because I used to spend almost a whole day trying to clean every single bit of my house, and it was so exhausting. So now I pay for that part of the help, and then for the rest of the time I'm just maintaining this place. The other rule I put for myself, whatever thing I'm buying for this household is going to be functional first before it can become cute. If I'm going to buy organizers where I have to fold everything in one simple place, it's not gonna work for me. My brain don't work like that. If I buy a nice decor piece and I put it in the living area and the kids are constantly playing with it, they're pulling it out, I have to constantly put it back, it's in the wrong place. Or it's just gonna be put away for this season until when they grow up. So for anything I'm buying for this house, it has to help me and not overwhelm me. The other thing I've really been working on with my kids to help them be self-sufficient is the school routine. We have to prepare the clothes for your school the night before. We're not looking for anything in the morning because mornings are chaotic. They pack their own snacks, because I used to pack snacks and people would bring them back because they didn't like them. Now you go in the pantry and pick out your snacks and put them in the bag. I wash the water bottles and you're going to fill up the water bottle and put it in the bag as well. I pack the lunches in the morning and that's fine, but I want them to be involved. And when we come back from school, you take out your bag together with any trash and we all go in the house. The bag goes in a specific place. You take out your lunchbox, you take out your water bottle and put it on the counter for me. And then they go upstairs and change their clothes. Does that happen all the time? No, there's so many times they just come in and slam the bags right in front of the doorway and keep going on with their way. But guess what? I will call them back to put the bags where they're supposed to be, even if I could do it. The other habit we've developed, especially from last year, is no clothes on the floor. Now, this is for me as well, because my closet used to have so many clothes. I would come back and I just undress and put it there, and I'm like, I'll come back and pick it up. You end up having clothes right there in your closet. So I started putting this rule up for me: no clothes on the floor. So when I come back, I'm either putting it in the bin, the wash bin, or I'm putting it on the hanger. And this has helped me so much to keep my place organized. But also I've applied it with the kids. When they come back from school, no clothes on the floor. So I have to constantly remind them, hey guys, you're going to go change your clothes, but remember, no clothes on the floor. They have actually started mastering it. They undress and put the clothes in the washroom, because the washroom is just literally opposite their bedroom. It has helped me not to constantly pick up stuff and let things pile in the house. The other thing we put in place is if we have an event tomorrow, we are preparing most of the things the night before. We are putting out all the clothes, we are packing the bags, if we need any snacks, everything just has to happen the night before, because I don't want to have so many decisions to make in the morning. Even when we are going to church, all their clothes have to be organized the night before, including myself, because I know me with decision making, and if I don't have any clothes in mind, that morning is going to be messy and everyone is going to be late for church, and no, it's not happening anymore. That has helped us be on time and also not to forget so many things, especially where we're supposed to be going. To add on that, we've done our best to have a home for so many things, especially the things that we use so often and the things we tend to look for. And also to separate them. For example, the kids' clothes, the pants are alone, the socks are alone, the activity clothes are alone, the shirts are alone, so they know exactly which one goes where. The same applies with the kitchen. My kids know where the straws are, where the forks are, the spoons are, so they can actually serve themselves in case they need anything. They know where the snacks are, they know where the drinks are. Having a same place to keep the things is so important. Before, I just literally used to do this because I had read it online that, yeah, you should find a home for things and keep them there. Don't over move them. But I've really tested that, especially when I became pregnant. I've locked myself out of my car twice. All because I took out my key from my handbag, the handbag that's supposed to be throughout the week. I put out the key and put it in the car. So when I got out of the car, I just grabbed the bag and I closed the car, not knowing the key is inside. If the key is supposed to be in the wallet, leave it there. So that's a lesson that I've learned. Get a place for things and just leave them there. The same thing applies with the laundry. We separate the white clothes from the dark clothes. So we have different cycles going on, and the kids' clothes are also separated. If this load is for the kids, it's going to the kids' room, and that's where we're going to organize. And if this load is ours, it's going to go to our bedroom. This next habit, I've talked about it so many times, but it's all about writing things down. There's so many times my husband came, hey, we need to do this. Hey, this has to happen. Or we have a program this week. And I'm like, you need to set a reminder. You need to put it in the phone, or you need to write it down, because I know I'm going to forget. And I don't want to be looking for information or missing it. If it's not in the phone, if it's not written down, it's going to be forgotten. I'll have books. If it's something that with the kids' activity, I'll just set a reminder through my watch. When someone tells me their name, I know I'm going to forget. Even before we leave that conversation, I'm typing in my phone to remember. This system alone, the brain dumping, call it the second brain, saves you so much, especially if you have ADHD. The one habit I'm still working on is to leave my environment clean. For example, if we have been eating, instead of me going to do something else so I can come back, clean up the table, I'm going to first clean up the table and then I can move to go do other things. Or if I've been working in this office, I want to clean up first before I leave to do other things. So when I come back, it's cleaned up. It's something that I'm still bringing up to my consciousness. Every time I do it, it helps my brain. It helps me to be less messy and to keep my environment clean. This one is simply between me and my husband. I simply refuse to take on all the financial responsibility. I had to sit down and talk to him, and we had this conversation. Like, I need you to be on the same page with me. We need to be working together. Like, I'm already overwhelmed in so many different places here. So we can actually build something together. But honestly, after we had that conversation, things changed so much. Being able to fill in our spreadsheets every single week. He actually set a reminder for himself, and also our money meetings happen every Sunday and at the end of the month. I am so happy that we are finally on the same page, working together. If you are struggling to have this conversation with your spouse, first off, you don't irritate him into doing this thing together. He has to want to be there. And if you're having communication issues, maybe you can bring in someone to help you, a counselor or a pastor, someone to help you navigate this. Not random people on the internet though, okay? And also pray for him. Have that vision that you have to work together, because when you are married, you're supposed to be one. Also, you can grab this book. I'll link it down below in the description box. Money for Couples. I think it helped me understand the mindset of my husband. Like, where are you right now? What are you thinking? Like, because I tried to push him into so many different areas and he just wasn't moving. So it helped me understand the kind of person he is and how to have really meaningful conversations without breaking him or demeaning him, and just respectfully talk to him like an adult. It gives you all the tips, including the scripts on what to use while you're speaking, and I feel like this has been really helpful for me. Now, the final thing, and this is probably the most important thing that I have done for myself, especially as a person who is so hard on herself, is I refuse to talk bad about myself, to put me down. Even if I've not done things perfectly as I thought I should do them, I refuse to talk to myself like, oh, you are bad, mom. Oh, how could you do this? Or how would you let this happen? You are the worst. You're lazy. No, I am giving myself grace through this. Like, I know I have to grow in certain areas, but I'm going to give myself grace. I used to do it, and I know how it affected my brain and the way I showed up as a mom. I do not stop being a human being just because I'm a mom. But at the same time, I'll allow myself to grow. For example, when I see things are not working, I'm going to find ways on how can I make it work? How can I be better here? Who can I learn from? But I'm not going to demean myself. I'm still going to hold my head up high because I am here for a reason, and I am their mommies for a reason. So if you're a mom who has been so hard on yourself, you're constantly putting yourself down, change the way you speak to yourself. So many times now I stand in the mirror in my bathroom and I just look at myself and I talk to myself, girl, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for being here. I'm proud of you for doing your best. You are amazing. You deserve to be happy through this process. Like, talk to yourself like you're talking to someone you love. And I hope this helped you. If you're struggling with consistency, if you're struggling with discipline to grow in certain areas, but you're still not building consistency, you want to grow, put yourself on a challenge. And I've explained that in a video right here that you can watch. Let me know in the comments though, if anything helps you, if there's any rule that has saved your sanity at home. Let us know in the comments. I really appreciate if I hear from you, because it lets me know that my videos are making some kind of impact on you. Or if you have any suggestions on the videos you want to see on this platform, again, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to share, to subscribe to this channel so you can see more of this content that's going to help you be less overwhelmed, not from something I had, but from things that I'm doing myself and implementing as a mom. That's how I know they'll work for you as well. So see you around.